I love the sport in itself, but I guess striking. I really like to strike. I just want to get better at everything. That's it.
Yeah.
Antonio McKee has great hope for you. Like Antonio was my champ here at 155 a long time ago. And when he talks about people, like I always ask him, how's this guy going to be? How's this guy going to be? And he was really hyped about you, but in a calm way, like he didn't want to like overhype anything. Even when about his own son, when he talks to me and we're on the phone together, he doesn't hype up his own son. You know what I'm saying? So when he was talking about you, he just says that you like work super hard in the gym. And I think that's the whole key to get to the next level. I mean, everybody has talent, but it's like, who's going to spend that time in the gym,
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry about the sound, man. These guys have been working on my floors over here for fucking a month.
He's not in a good mood. He doesn't like that.
Yeah, so
You should tell him. Yeah, you should go out there and just say what you said to Mark about saying something wrong to your son.
We'll jump you.
It's like, what's going on here, guys? Let's get this
But they're
done.
in California. They're in California, man. Things get weird there.
Hey, I grew up a construction worker. That's one thing I know about construction workers. You don't fuck with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they'll wreck your shit, right? So yeah, they'll wreck your
They'll
shit.
just leave, and then it'll be 2 months before you see anyone else there again.
Yeah, as soon as they're done, we kicking all their ass.
Yeah.
Quinton, how's the movie career going? I just looked at your IMDb, and it looks like you have 6 new movies coming out.
6?
That's what it says on there.
What 6? I know it's like 3.
Oh well, geez, yeah, they have 3 other ones on there. Some are in post-production, one's in pre-production, and it's all it says is that 2023 is a big year for you.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of movies.
What do you feel like? Okay, from MMA to movies, like where did that connection come from, and how do you? What's the difference, and what are the similarities?
Hold on one second. Hey, Roger, tell me. Take 5-minute break.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
Tell him take a break.
Okay, so take 5.
Take 5.
Just take 5. Just take 5 minutes, please. All right, please. Doing movies is he just gave my son a crazy look.
Make sure you film anything that happens, please.
Yeah, man, you got it. You have to now.
Yeah. Doing movies is fun. I'm a big kid, and I like doing movies, and it don't hurt as much as fighting.
No,
that's right. But acting is obviously there's like
no, not really.
No, fuck no.
No,
not even close. Not even close.
I missed that. What'd you say? What
about movies? And they don't pay the same. And I said, movies pay more, and he said no.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, geez, man, it's time. It's time for a new agent.
Yeah, well, I guess,
But what would your biggest movie be? Would A-Team be the biggest one?
Yeah, that's the biggest movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Played B.A. Baracus. You know that, Mark?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's right.
I watched it. It.
Nice.
You know who else used to train you that I know very well? Lance Gibson.
Yeah.
I know Lance like really well from like we geographically we live kind of close, and then I know him really well, and I know his girlfriend. I think it might be even his wife now.
Yeah, I'm sure they're married now.
Yeah, and then I remember, and I'm really good friends with Boss Rutan still. And I know, so I know we have a picture somewhere together when we were on the show Inside MMA together.
Yeah, with Boss Rutan.
But yeah, and Kenny Rice, and we were with Mike Pyle.
Oh yeah, Mike Pyle.
Which was your first fight?
Correct the mundo.
In 1999.
Correct the mundo.
That's right.
Are you so with your son going into the sport now? We've talked to a lot of fighters, and it's the mix is 50-50, let's say, of them that want their kids to go into MMA, and then some that I'd rather them not. Did you ever have to? Did you have to struggle through that, or was that just always the thing? Let's go.
Well, I have 3 boys, and I didn't want any of my kids to go into MMA. And if you have any kids of yourself, you tend to learn your kids and know your kids. And after growing up with Roger and learning Roger, I figured, what the fuck else he gonna do? He ain't gonna be no doctor. He ain't gonna be no teacher, no lawyer.
His face right now.
When he said he wanted to be a fighter, I was like, okay, son, let's It's probably a good choice because you ain't that smart. I'm joking.
No, I know you're
love it.
kidding. Well,
I actually have 5 sons. I have 5 boys.
Roger's actually really smart when he wants to use his intellect. Other than that, he just Roger is a I will describe him as an African hippie.
Okay.
I'll be on autopilot most of the time.
Is it because that you were thinking of everything already and you just kind of this isn't really challenging?
Nah, I just go through the motions most of the time. That's it.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, that's it.
He's a hippie.
He's a hippie. What when you're in the ring or in the octagon, how does that translate?
There's a light switch.
Yeah.
Interesting. And that's it. Are you like a different person?
Pretty much.
Or would you say that that's something that you have like buried down and you're like, I'm letting them out of the bag right now?
It's both, to be honest. It's both.
Really?
Yeah.
So what goes on? When is that moment? Is it when you're walking out there, or is it when the first bell goes?
It's hard to say. I guess like right before I go out there.
And you feel that switch go.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And out of your starting career right now, what's the hope and aspiration? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to see this take you?
That's a good question. I really I don't know. I just want to I just focus on keep going. That's it. I don't really think about that too much. Just be able to maintain and just be able to keep going. That's it.
Quinton, what about you? Do you feel like this boxing trend that's started now, the celebrity boxing trend that's kind of started, and some guys are making some real money in it? Do you see yourself still? Because I know you still have power, right? So I that's all you need. And I know you know how to box. So is that something you see yourself doing or no?
I've been trying to box ever since I was fighting in the UFC. I always wanted a boxing match, and I wanted to have at least one boxing match before I get too old. So hopefully I can have at least one.
I mean, I'm surprised that nobody's reached out yet. Like, I think this would be
insane.
A great idea, actually.
Dude on my shirt, Shannon, been trying to box me for a while, but I think he got scared when he started paying attention to my fights and how I be putting bungalows on people. I think he kind of
yeah,
that's right.
It's too. Yeah.
What about again, like some of the celebrity fighting boxing stuff, like a lot of it is lead up to the event. It's more about talking. It's about getting the attention, getting the promotion going. Yourself and your son and even in your own career with boxing, like how much of that still or should be focused on today? Learning how to talk in interviews, learning how to go to the press conference, learning how to trash the other guy and be funny enough to get more clips on social media.
I think that's very important. I look at the likes of Conor McGregor. Why you think he's like the highest paid MMA fighter? Because because his mouthpiece and I guess his demographic as well. But I think that's one of the reasons why I've made so much success in this business because of my presence as well as my fighting skills. My son, he's a lot like me in a lot of ways. He has a good personality and stuff like that, but I don't know if he's too shy to like show it. So only time would tell.
That's same with AJ McKee's the same way. Like he was on our show and for his skill level, we thought like, you should be farther along financially. You know what I mean? But he don't want to talk trash. He just doesn't really do it. He doesn't, he doesn't want to say too much, and unfortunately, that's what kind of stops people now because that's the way the system and the game's been set up.
Right.
I mean,
you got to look at the pro wrestling aspect of it because I used to be a big pro wrestling fan.
That's right.
And I like that part of it. Fighters, we're the only public figures that actually can talk shit and talk trash and get away with it. Like when I did the movie 18, I remember I got in a bunch of trouble for being myself and making fun of one I think he was AD. Me and him was become friends. He was like homosexual. I've been working with him for 6 months, so and I have no problem with anybody. And him and I became friends over the 6 months. And long story short, he kind of like said some stuff that in front of like the guy who was interviewing me, and I clapped back. And when you're a fighter, and you mean you make fun of anything. And so
Correct.
you know what I'm saying. I just started making fun of him, and the guy that was interviewing me didn't like some of the jokes that I was saying about the guy. I was like, well, you know what I'm saying? I know this guy. We make fun of each other for 6 months. We make fun of each other, and the guy like kind of like said like, oh, in actors, you just got to be careful what you say. You got to walk on eggshells. As fighters, we can say whatever we want.
That's true.
I think you take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think you need to, like, in a lot of ways, because it does get you, especially how people consume media today and how fast everything goes, and we all want to see the clip that makes us laugh on wherever and swipe to the next one. But Raja, what do you feel? Like, how do you feel about that when the time comes that social media is a big part of it, and you want to get your name out there and you want people to see your face and recognize you? How do you feel about, standing in that spotlight a little more?
I mean, when the time comes up, like, I don't know. I am really shy when it comes to like, interviews and all that stuff. I really don't like it, to be honest. I don't really like talking trash to people and stuff. I like my actions to speak louder than my words. So, but hopefully I'll be able to just overcome that aspect of it. We'll see.
Yeah. No, this is a good start. Like doing interviews is a big thing. Like, I don't think anybody is comfortable doing it when they first start doing it, and it's like when I owned the MFC for 16 years, I had to create this other character that I was for 16 years. I talk shit to everybody, and I use no profanity in 16 years because I said, no, I could talk shit without doing it. But I wasn't at the beginning. I wasn't comfortable doing it. But after a while, man, it's like people started watching the show, making more money, more sponsors, more everything, and it worked. So that's all I see right now in the sport. I mean, like, yeah, you have to have talent, but if you can't sell your fight, if me and you are fighting on this date and I start talking shit about you, you have to clap back, because that's the only way people are going to start paying attention to you. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. Like, the whole game has changed since the time your dad started and I started in it. It's totally different now. Like, you just see everybody. Like, it's some guys are like really good fighters and they can do a little bit, and then there's some guys that are just mediocre fighters and they do a lot. But it seems like those are the guys that are getting all these cards and all these pay-per-view events.
I tell you where he's not shy when it comes to fat women. That boy loves a big woman. I tell you. The chunkier the better. The more stretch marks and cottage cheese, he got the riz for that. He ain't stuck when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Your dad's putting it on you today here.
He always do. Never fails. He always do.
I'm like that with my kids too. Like, there's some of them that it's just so easy, and but it seems like you're good spirited, so you don't take it personal, which is awesome. I think that's such an important thing too with the next generation of
Correct.
let's just even in life, let's get outside of fighting, like even in life, like being able to mold our kids in a way where they're their own humans, but able to withstand a little bit of life storms along the way. Because I find there's a lot of kids out there that as soon as the heat gets turned up just a couple degrees, all hell breaks loose.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of sensitive people in the world these days.
Yeah, that's what sucks.
That's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
It is, because that's the generation. I mean, my father knocked the pussy out of me, and then I knocked it out of my son, and my son turned out great. You know what I mean? And it's funny because he said the same thing. He said, just the way it is now, it's like you can't even yell at your kid, or you can't even, you know what I mean? That's how people are, and that's where the world's come to, and it's scary. It's very scary.
Very scary.
What's it like growing up with a dad that people? How was it growing up with people knowing who your dad was?
I mean, it was cool. It's kind of tough at the same time because you don't know who's really your friend or not.
Right.
People just like you because of him and stuff. But other than that, it's really cool. Because I have somebody close to me I can really look up to. And he's a really cool dad.
Who are the other guys in your life that you look up to?
It's a good question. I watch a lot of like superhero stuff, so that's you know,
My son is a nerd.
yeah.
He watch anime. He know everything about
Yeah.
damn comic books. But I'm gonna tell you, he I know he looks up to a Coach McKee a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, coach is, I'm very grateful to be at his gym, and AJ. I look up to AJ and Joey Davis. Everybody in the body shop is really cool, and I'm just glad to be there. I'm just glad to train, be able to train and do the sport.
Yeah.
Quinton,
absolutely.
are you in the gym? Are you in the gym now training ever, Quinton?
Yeah. I trained with him the other day. I was going to go this morning, but I don't know what my problem is. I felt lazy this morning, but I gotta go. I gotta go leave here in a couple of minutes to go train. I've been lifting weights with my coach, Sean Reyes, and that's taking a lot out of me. But I'm trying to get myself back in shape and get my weight back down. So I've been training with Coach Reyes for a couple of months now.
And you are open to a boxing fight.
Yeah, I'm open to a boxing match.
What is next? What do you feel is next for you?
For me,
Yeah.
I don't have anything on the table. I'm just living my life.
Right.
If something comes up, it comes up. If a movie comes, if I like it, I do the movie. If a fight come up, if it's a good fight, what I'm saying, I'll take it. But I'm chilling.
That's right. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I'm 45. I'm 45 this month. So it's like,
Yeah.
I should have retired 10 years ago.
What is it about that? Is you think there's a day you're just going to say it, or you're just going to kind of let it go?
One day I will officially retire, but I just haven't retired officially yet because I've seen fighters retire and they miss it and they come back.
Yeah.
And they, it's been 3 years since I fought, but
Yeah.
this is the longest break I ever, took in my whole career. But people thought I was retired years ago. People thought when I left the UFC I retired. So,
We got to come up, Jesse. We got to come up with a boxing fight for him.
Yeah.
We got to figure that out.
We want to see. We just got to put a list together of who we want to see their asses
smash.
kicked, and and send
Yeah.
it to him and see which one he wants, which one pays the most.
Yeah.
But I always am interested. Like you do a whole career at a very high level, and then you take the break, like you said, for 3 years. What do you do consume your time? Or are you the kind of person that can be fine with not having the targeted goals in there, and you just relax and can enjoy it?
Yeah, I'm the type of guy. I always go with the flow. I enjoy my life. I enjoy fighting and stuff like that. But I don't. Excuse me. I don't have to fight, but so I still enjoy it. And it's like one of those things. Whatever's fun. I like doing stuff that's fun.
Yeah. I guess that is true. And you worked very hard to be able to do that more today too.
Wait a second. You know what I got to wonder? Why did you fight Vanderlei Silva so many times? Like, that's bizarre. Like, you fought him how many times?
4 times. Well,
4 times. Like, no one fights anybody 4 times, right?
Well,
You did.
I need to fight him one more time to break the tie, right?
Yeah. That's right. I was looking at it. I'm like, geez, no one ever fights anyone 4 times.
Well,
like,
this is how it happened. This is like why I fought Vanderlei 4 times. And in pride, I think the first time I fought him was in a tournament. I had to fight Chuck Liddell 45 minutes before.
That's right.
Then I had to fight Vanderlei, and I felt like I got cheated because I was beating them on the ground and they stood me up
Too early.
Way too early. And so I complained about that, and Vanderlei was a champion. So the rematch, I was fighting him for his belt. So I lost those 2. And then when I went to the UFC,
that's right.
The only reason why I went to UFC is because Chuck was on his run of getting all his rematches, right? He was rematching everybody that beat him, and that was the last one. So after I beat Chuck, they gave me like Dan Henderson
That's right.
and then they were just trying to get me out of there. They gave me Forrest, and I feel like I won that fight with Forrest, but they gave Forrest.
But you beat Henderson.
Right, I beat Henderson. Then they gave me Forrest, and they took the belt from me, and then they wanted me out of the UFC. So they figured like, oh, let's give him somebody who he can't beat, Vanderlei Silva. Vanderlei Silva got his number, so they gave me Vanderlei Silva, and I destroyed him.
That's right.
And then since it was two Vanderlei, I figured I would fight him one more time. I was fighting in Bellator, and they asked me who I want to fight. I said, hey, I owe Vanderlei Silva one more ass whooping, well, two more ass whoopings. So they gave me Vanderlei again. So that's how I ended up fighting him 4 times. But the third time I fought him, it was just because UFC, they wanted to get me out of there. They thought that Vanderlei was going to destroy me.
Wow.
Why did the UFC want to get rid of you?
You know, I was an outsider from the beginning. I came over, had one fight, then I beat their champion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the UFC and I, we never was on the same page. I was, you know, I represent pride no matter what. Going to the UFC, I was a pride fighter.
I don't know why they can't figure that out. Like, you know, like it's confusing to me because I like I said, I followed your career from the beginning, and I know like you have to deal with everybody separately, and that's something that the UFC's never figured out yet. They have not figured like why does the current champ, heavyweight champ, walk out the door? That's never happened anywhere else in the world. He literally packed his shit and said, I'm out. I'm not fighting for the UFC no more. Goes with PFL. He's going to box now. He's going to do whatever he wants. Why didn't the UFC just arrange that? Like, you can arrange that. Hey, you want to do some boxing? No problem, bro. You go make as much money as you want boxing. It doesn't relate to you, UFC. And it's the same thing with you. Like, I never had problems with fighters. I dealt with 155 guys from the UFC. I never had problems with nobody. And the reason why is because I knew I had to deal with everybody separately. No one was the same. Everybody was different. And it seems like the UFC, they're confused by that. They don't understand someone like.
I'm gonna tell you from being there, it's ego that you have to deal with stuff as well. So that's the main problem. Like I'm not gonna say no names, but come on, we all know who it is. But sometimes some certain people want you to be a yes man. They want you to kiss their ass and they want a monopoly. It's my way or the highway, and everybody is not like that. You know, some of us, we're fighters on the inside now.
Correct.
And that's one of the reasons why I left the UFC, and you know, it had something to do with Reebok. I wasn't a champion, but it had something to do with Reebok and the way I was treated over there. You know, I felt like my job was to entertain the fans. You know, my goal wasn't to be the best fighter, but was to be the most entertaining fighter. And I just felt like I didn't get respected for that, you know. So,
and it's so surprising based on what we talked about before is basically what they're looking for is entertainment, and MMA is entertainment still. Like we have to look at, I look at most sports as entertainment. Yeah, there's obviously skill levels and that kind of stuff too, but we have to be entertained. And
right. You know what? Entertaining me watching you trying not to eat your mustache.
I know, right? You like this one?
But you know what? It's different too, though, because if you look at the people like you beat Wanderlei Silva twice, you beat Dan Henderson, Chuck Liddell, even Kevin, rest in peace, Kevin Randleman, you know, Loyal Machida. Like it's not like you didn't beat like really good guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've been there with some of the best. I've won some and lost some. So, you know, it's part of the sport, you know, win or lose. But I hope that my son never tastes defeat, because, you know, I know how I feel, and it would suck to see my son, like physically watch my son, you know, saying lose or you know, God forbid, you know, him get hurt in there, or you know, go through the things I went through. I got knocked out like 2 or 3 times. I can't remember. And it's like it's part of the sport, you know. Saying it's about how you bounce back. But you know, I knew going into it that, you know, it's a good chance that I was going to get beat up sometimes. But you know, I didn't care, you know.
But it always seemed like your last 20, 30 fights, like you only fought good guys. Like you never. It's not like you were fighting slouches ever. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, you know, you have to fight. You were in that category of always got to fight good guys. I'm not fighting any, you know, soup cans. Like
right. That reminded me. Yeah, you guys asked like what's coming up next. I know that Roger and I are thinking about fighting on the same card in UFL, and you reminded me when you said slouch, because now that I'm old, I'm going to have to fight a slouch.
Yeah, but that's okay though. That's part of the game. That's the game we're in, man. It's like, yeah, when you pass a certain age and like you haven't fought for a while, that's what happens. But prior to that, you did not. You did not fight, and you were always fighting like good guys, and that's. You know, there's very few guys when you look on their record, like every guy that you fought is good. Like it's no one was shit. And maybe your first at the beginning in 19, even your first fight, you fought Mike Pyle in your very first fight. I mean, he's not a shitty fighter.
No, he was at Memphis at the time.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it was crazy. Like, you were always fighting good people. And the reason they can't understand how to deal with you is very confusing to me, but I see that lots now in a lot of sports and boxing as well, is that you have to understand every fighter is very different, and you have to deal with each one very differently.
Yeah, you're correct. But I'm going to try to fight titties.
Who?
Daryl Schonauer from Ultimate Fighter.
Oh. I remember that guy.
Yeah, I'm going to try to fight
I almost forgot about that, right? And you were calling him titties on the show. And
I told him if he beats me, I would never call him titties again.
Hey,
if that doesn't motivate him, nothing will. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be it.
In what? In boxing or an MMA fight?
In MMA, but if he want to box, I'll box him too. But we're going to try to do it in UFL. You know, the United Fight League.
That just started, right?
Yeah, it's a new league, and they're giving fighters benefits, right? So they're giving fighters. They're the first league to do it. So I want to really stand behind these guys and promote them. Man.
Who are the people behind UFL?
It's Harrison Rogers. He's the founder, and you got myself and Frank Muir and
okay,
and what's the nice girl name that work for why am I having a brain freeze on her name?
The nice girl.
The nice girl from UFL.
I hope she don't see this.
Well, we'll tag her in it. Make sure.
No, you better not.
No, of course. Yeah.
No, hey, hold on.
And Raj is like, "What are you asking me for?" He don't know.
You met her when you fought with her.
I forgot.
Sophia.
Yeah,
Sophia.
That's the one.
Much love, Sophia. Much love, Sophia.
Yeah, Sophia. Her last name is very hard to pronounce. That would mess me up. Sophia, you know, I never will forget your name, but you gotta remember I've been fighting for 20-some years, and I hope you don't see this podcast.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Correct.
Roger, when's the fight coming up?
Is it pro debut?
No, we haven't set a date. Roger pro debut is supposed to be August 12th, so I think that might be too soon for me because I got a lot of stuff going on. But hopefully before this year is over with.
For Roger or for you?
For me, Roger goes to fight August 12th.
August 12th. Where's that one happening?
We're gonna find out. I got an idea for Quinton for a good boxing fight.
Who you got?
I got an idea. I know everybody, so we'll keep in touch. When you see my email come, you know, I gotta talk about money and stuff like that. But you know,
he's always promoting. He's always doing something.
I can't help it. It's like a disease for me, man.
Yeah, Roger got a couple of diseases as well too.
Yeah, what?
It's called fat girl. Because he loves fat girls.
It sounds. I'm not sure. It sounds where that comes from.
I'm lying, huh?
No.
Love it.
Well, thanks so much, guys. Thanks so much
for joining us. We really appreciate your time, and
give those guys a fucking slap too from the floor guys over there. Give them a little slap on the way out.
Oh yeah.
When they're done. Yeah.
When they're done, make sure after
film that. Make sure you put that shit on YouTube. We want to see that.
We're trying to get us sued.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, Quinton and Raja Jackson, everybody on the show today, fantastic. We knew it was going to be hairy. We knew it was going to be hairy. We knew they were coming in hot, right?
That's
they were coming in hot, and we knew they were coming in hot. And you know, you got to admit though, Quinton is like bang for the buck.
You know what? Like,
you can't beat it.
Yeah,
you got him framed. Did you have him framed in good on the show?
Well, he kept moving the camera up, and you're not going to tell Quinton to move the camera around while he's in the middle of a sentence. So, there's that too. But
but you did see him pretty good. You did see him pretty good.
Everyone knows it's him, and so I think too, like, it's funny because you look back and you're like, man, I remember, like, you would turn in when he was on a card because you knew that the whole lead up to the thing was going to be good, and it's a part of a personality that is who he is. Actually, it's just who he is, and I'm going to put it out there for everybody, which I do really appreciate because, man, I really do want to be entertained still. I've decided, like, in sports, like, I need to be entertained.
We are in that world now, my friend, and you know what the crazy part is? I remember my dad telling me this a long time ago. My dad says to me, my dad's good friends with Scotty Bowman, and one of the greatest coaches in the NHL. And when he was coaching Detroit, my dad and him would talk every night at every home game. And he would tell my dad, he would say, Matt, every player's different now. I can't give the speech, the sis boom ba, let's go, go, go speech to everybody. It doesn't work. I got it once in a while. I got to talk to this guy a certain way and this guy a certain way. So when I owned the MFC, I learned that from my dad giving me that advice. I never I had the one speech what I had to do every show, and it took about 30 seconds.
Right.
I said, this is what the bonus money will be if you knock the shit out of someone. And I used to tell every fighter, you know what? If you get knocked out really good, I don't care who it is. I'm going to jump up and go crazy. Okay.
If you get knocked out,
like, I'm not the guy. I'm sorry, everybody. I did it for 16 years. You'll see on television. I don't just stand up randomly and start jumping around.
Right.
Like, it's funny. But when guys would get knocked out, like, I mean, I had some of the craziest knockouts in MMA in history. There was one. Listen, I can remember.
We had him on the show.
I'm not sure.
Oh, man.
Anthony Hamilton.
Yes.
Head kick.
Yes.
And who he knocked out was a phenomenal fighter too, Shlamino Rama.
Yeah.
I love Rama. You know that we got to get Rama on the show because this kid was the World Series of Fighting champion. He goes to Harvard now.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? And he's just an awesome guy. But you know what's crazy? He knocked him out. He kicked him in the head. And I love Rama. Love. And I jumped up and I was happy because it's not about the person. It's not about the person that's getting knocked out. It's about the act of getting knocked out or some crazy submission. I would go crazy. So I would tell people at the meeting, don't think I don't like you. If I jump up and if some guy kicks you to the head and you get slapped and you're doing the chicken on the ground, sure, I want you to wake up and be okay. But I'm jumping up and down, man. I am. And I don't apologize to anybody for being that way. So it's like, even and people at the beginning were like, oh, Mark, like, you looked happy that I got slept. I saw you on TV. And I'm like, no, man, that's not it at all. Yeah.
And we're happy. You're happy that it was entertaining.
Yeah. But what Quinton's going to have to teach his son immediately, he's going to have to teach him. It's great you want to do your talking in the ring, but when guys used to say that in my show, you know what I would do? I'd lose their fucking phone number because you know what? That doesn't work anymore. It stopped working when I owned the MFC. Yeah. You cannot do, Jesse Martineau and Mark Pavlich are going to fight, okay? We're going to fight August 29th, 2023, and Jesse Martineau, you know what? I'm going to kick the living shit out of you. I just know it. There's nothing you can do that I don't already know. And I know for sure I'm going to take that beard and I'm going to dye it black with my fist.
Right.
You understand that? And this is the start of it.
And I'll say if the ambulance can get you there in time for the fight from the geriatric ward, I'll be there ready.
Correct. But see, that's what I'm talking about, Jesse.
Yeah, no,
Jesse,
dude, it's 100% accurate.
Just that, that transaction we did there, and the one that with the geriatric and the ambulance, that makes internet, like for
gold.
Everybody to see. Now, who doesn't want to watch that fight?
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell everybody.
It is 100% what it is. And again, we've seen guys, and some of the older school ones too, a little bit where, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't do that. But we remember the guys that do it, like Patty the Batty, who, here's a new one. Like, and again, questionable skill.
His skill level's a little shaky, right?
But don't matter because everyone wants to see him because the guy's got an awesome sound clip. And that's the thing. Like you put together a good sound clip, and it does the thing that the promoters want, which is get people to buy and make money.
Correct.
And then you
Correct.
get another shot. Even if it's not even if the outcome isn't what you wanted, you still have a better chance of getting that re-sign, that next fight, if you can pull in butts to the seats. And
Correct.
that is, and again, hey man, we just had a massive thing happen. When we've been talking about it for a year, Live Golf and PGA merge, and we see it in this point that entertaining golf is what people want. They don't want the old school, old grandpa's version of golf anymore. They want something a little more fun.
Listen to this. I go golfing last Thursday. I'm golfing last Thursday. This is a true story. I go golfing with our dear friend Sean Obrowski. So we're going to golfing. We're on the tee box, and then they say, "Okay, this guy." We don't go to his private bougie course. I take him to another course, which is very good. And we go to this course, and they say, "We're gonna put someone with you guys, right?" So the first guy comes in, and he's playing with us. And this guy is having cocktails from the first tee to the second to the ninth. Okay. This kid bounces. He's talking about golf. He just took it up 2 years ago because he started watching Live Golf, not because of the PGA. I didn't make it up, Jesse. Jesse, I'm not making this up. Watch this. So the next guy comes on. Now, 2 guys are with us. 2 guys come with us. One guy is smoking the cheech nonstop.
Yeah.
Dressed like a golfer.
Yeah.
Got music on in his cart.
Yeah.
Smoking the ganja the entire time.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's still playing golf, right? Another guy comes and joins us. Slick cat, really good golfer. He's smashing back beers, literally every hole. Like bang, bang, bang. The one guy's got music on. The other guy's got music on. This guy's smoking weed. This guy's drinking beer. And so I finally look at Sean and I'm like, me and you aren't lighting up here, right? We might as well have a fucking cocktail. You know what I'm saying? So him and I start having cocktails, and we stopped even keeping score the last 8 holes. You know what I mean? But we had fun.
Yes.
And you know what's funny? I saw something so bizarre that I've never seen in golf. This is a nice golf course. This isn't some ghetto golf course. And the way the guys played well. They weren't rude. But they were high and they were drinking every hole.
Yeah.
And they had music on, right? Which was bizarre. Like when I came up in golf, music on the golf course. Are you nuts?
Yeah.
Like that would never happen. I'm telling you, this is the evolution of the game. You don't want the game to die. And you know what's funny? They asked me too. It was so funny because I'm the old guy. They're like, "Does the music bother you, sir?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not." It did. And first time I played, when I came back into golf, I heard people with music. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Why is there music on the golf course? But the funny thing happened. I was like, no, man, I love music usually, but not on a golf course.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell them. Yeah, it bugs the shit out of me because you know what? That's the if you want to grow the game of golf, you have to kind of.
You have to make it relevant for today. And that's it. Like, and again, it is a really good point. And it's probably why I stopped golfing, to be honest, is because, you have these aspirations of like being good. And it's like, you're never going to be PGA at this stage. And if you are, you're not going to be golfing in this course. So what's the point? Like, make it fun for yourself so you actually enjoy the time out there rather than getting pissed off for 3.5 hours chasing that stupid ball around. And so, why not make
Jesse.
it fun?
I think you're right, Jesse. I think I'm going to change my mentality because I was really good as a junior golfer. I mean, really good, like in the 70s. I came back to play like last year for the first time in 20 years, and I was getting kind of good again. And then what happened was I went over the winter and got brand new clubs, brand new bag, brand new everything. Yeah. And I've played 2 rounds of golf this year, and I practice lots, and I am playing like dog shit, like literally like dog shit. And you know what's funny? I tweeted it out the other day. I'm like, I'm terrible at golf. I literally have a 50-yard hole in my backyard. I have a putting machine, the Dustin Johnson putting machine in my house. And literally like it's literally like a golf simulator, this house. And you know what I started to realize? I want to use my 50-yard golf hole now to sit with friends and have a drink.
Right.
I want to use my putting machine with my wife and have fun joking around. I want to go golfing now and don't even bring a fucking scorecard. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. I don't even want a scorecard anymore. I just want to go hit the ball, play 18. You know what? And I'm probably built for 12 holes.
I was actually saying that to someone the other day. I'm like, I'm good for 12. The last ones, I don't even care if I golf. I'll just drive the cart. Like,
you know what, bro? I think that's gonna be my thing. Because I like when I get to about 12, I'm like, I've had enough.
Yeah.
And it's like these other 6 holes are like torture. And you know what I did? I was having some cocktails. I've never had these before. There's these kind of like drinks they serve on the golf course. They're called White Claws or something. I don't know what they are. So Sean's drinking these White Claws. He's hammered. Yes. He's hammered now. And so he says, Mark, try one of these. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like they don't have my drinks at the golf course, right? So I'm drinking this White Claw thing. And you know what happens? I hook a ball somewhere into the woods, and you know what? I don't even go look for it, you know? And then the next hole, I drill one into, like, I hit it too far. Like I didn't know the yardage, and there was a water and I hit it like into the water. And I was like, I'm good. I just drove. I was driving. I'm like, but I was enjoying myself. And that's the part of golf that we all forgot about somewhere along the way.
I think that's the part of sports we've all forgot about.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
When you think about these are supposed to be fun, and you know, I think part of my thing with, you know, I've whittled down sports, and I've dove into ones that I feel having fun in. Like I find F1 fun for me. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
And I love hearing all the talking. But you know, in hockey has really dipped for me because I feel that some of the fun's been taken out of it. And you know, you get the same answers, you get the same interviews. How many times we've seen them?
The worst, Jesse. The worst.
Same in between period shows.
Yeah.
Like
horrible.
It's like this isn't fun anymore. This isn't.
It's not.
And when they try to be fun, it's so lame. That it doesn't even like I'm turning this off. Live Golf comes along and has concerts. they hire comedians to do the press conference to ask these crazy questions. And you're like, okay. And some people are like, well, that's not golf. And like, why not? Why isn't it golf? Why isn't it important to have fun with the fans again? Because I feel that
golf did that, Jesse.
Yeah, because
golf did that.
And
they wanted to segregate their own sport. They wanted to segregate the sport so bad.
Yeah.
The golf people. Okay, I'll say the golf people wanted to exclude everybody that wasn't white and that wasn't male. And that's a fact. I'm talking about the biggest clubs in the world just recently allowing female or African American members, and these are very, these are top 10 golf courses in
Augusta just let women in there, and I don't even think they're allowed to be full members yet. But
you are correct.
But you're like, okay, if you're trying to be this organization that is like, you know, super current and stuff, well, you can't do it the same way you've done it for 120 years. It has to change. It has to evolve into something. And so I think that's where it is. And I think
they still treat the caddies like slaves.
Yeah, they did. They were not allowed to go into the clubhouse.
They treat them like second-class citizens in the PGA Tour to this day. They're not allowed to have dinner in the clubhouse with their golfer. Some of these caddies are making $500,000, $1 million a year.
Like
you know what I mean?
Percentage of the winnings. So you're like, okay,
correct.
Yeah, like these guys are
they're not poor.
No, so, and also they're professional golf caddies for the best golfers in the world, and so they're also a big deal.
So PGA Tour shits all over them. Doesn't treat them like normal citizens. That's what they did. They're the same group of people that are trying to segregate the sport. They've always segregated the sport. Now all of a sudden they're getting a little woke. They had to. They had no choice because Liv came along and said, you know what? You're joking. You mean caddies can't go eat with the golfers? That makes no sense. Listen, caddies, we want you to stand on the podium. You know, the podium, and spray champagne with your golfer.
Yeah, your team.
You can go anywhere you want. You can go in the players' dressing room. You can do whatever you want because you're part of the team. And what the hell was PGA thinking the whole time? I just laughed. I saw in the last golf tournament, not the Canadian Open, the one prior, they had a special room for them at the PGA Tour, their own room. not the one where the players go,
Yeah.
with like video games inside and a masseuse. And I started to laugh. I said, this is their version of trying to, make them the same level. But let's give Nick Taylor, the first Canadian in 69 years, winning the Canadian Open yesterday, the RBC Canadian Open. Incredible. Fourth hole of overtime, fourth extra hole. And there it happened. 72 feet uphill. Whop. And Canada goes nuts, including me.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. Congratulations. Yeah. Again, that's awesome. And those are the kind of things that are great. And now let's build off this, because I think, as much as you want to, shit on Liv or whatever, and now people are saying, well, it's not really Liv, it's PIF. And you're like, okay, well, shut up. It's Liv. We know what it is, guys. Like, don't try to double down now after you've already lost.
Phil Mickelson and Koepka and Dustin Johnson are all smiling right now.
Koepka might have single-handedly done this with winning the PGA Championship.
I think you're right, Jesse.
Because it was the you can't argue it anymore. You can't. The guy just won a major and not in your organization, and just walked in and did that, and you have to respond. And okay, good. I'm glad they did. And I think Rory and those guys, they need to stop talking now. Let's bring it back and say, hey, no, this is a thing now. Now we're going to make this sport great again. And they really need to. I think it's time that I think it can be a great, entertaining sport. And outside of Augusta, I think it could be actually something that you would tune in and watch the non-major events if they continue down this road. But we'll see.
No, I totally agree. I think what you're seeing now is like, we talked about it, I think the day before it happened.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was the next morning that it happened.
The next morning we talked about it. We said that they're literally
we talked about Monday night, and Tuesday morning it happened.
Correct. And what happened was they literally, we said if they take 3 more golfers from the PGA Tour, three guys, they're finished. And what happened? They instead of paying 3 or 4 more guys to come over, they just pay the PGA directly.
And now there's people pissed because hey, well, they should be paying a penalty back to us. Like, no, they were smart businessmen. Like,
correct. And there will be no penalty by the golfers.
No.
So if Liv wants to kick in whatever they want to kick in, the day Phil Mickelson's going to give any money to the PGA Tour, the day Dustin Johnson or Koepka are going to give anything to them, that'll be the day.
I guess so. Then 2024 would it be? I guess it would be the Masters that would be like the official first event that would be merged.
Yes.
And
no, it won't be the Masters. It'll actually be like the Pebble Beach, because that's
before that, the warm up.
Yeah, it won't be a major tournament. It'll just be a PGA tournament.
Whatever that one is.
Yes.
The ratings. Like, let's be real. Like, the ratings will actually be ratings on that one, because
if they have any sense, you know what they would do? Any sense whatsoever. Why don't you just let me and Jesse match up the foursomes for you guys, and you watch what happens? Yeah. Okay, this is gold. You guys have to do.
And I love the idea. Like, they're even floating like, hey, we can do teams, and like, yeah, absolutely, we need teams. We need more reasons to get behind a group of guys. We need more reasons to do it. Let's make it more sports where there's teams and we can even trade or sign people to contracts.
Why would you have 30 teams like the NFL and literally the top 125 golfers in the world, and you do a lottery and make that a thing?
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, listen, PJ and Liv, if you want to we can put our phone number on the screen here for you. You can call us after. Yeah. But if you want to do a draft and make golf into a draft,
there you go.
And go, wait a second, let's go, because the 125 player in the world could end up playing with Dustin Johnson or Koepka. And then you go, okay, well, now if Tiger comes back, which I don't know if he will, but if he does, and then Rory plays with, someone else. And then, so basically if you do the draft, the guys in the 1 to 40, 40 to 80, 80 to 125.
Well, hey man, if
One
you have
from
20
each.
teams and like on the first one you do like 1 to 20, 20 to 1 for the
Yeah,
picks,
that's how you do it.
like,
That's how you do it.
and then for the first time, and then you would do it like regular sports after. But you know, you set it up that way. You have 20 teams. Think of the sponsorships that you can now start to get again. Like, you know, Red Bull. Why not Red Bull team? Like, you know, us. I'm just
Of
the
course,
idea. Like,
Jesse.
why not? Like, why
Jesse,
not
why would
have
there be
these
a
guys?
Rolex team? Why would there
Exactly.
be a Forget that. You know, that's where Liv made a mistake. Forget that bullshit about your name of those teams.
Yeah.
I want to be
Yeah.
on Team Rolex.
Yes.
I want to be on Team Tag Heuer.
Yes.
I want to be on Team Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
I want to be on, because Louis Vuitton just came out with this golf set that is unbelievable. Like
Also,
I'd have to win the
probably
lottery to get it.
unbelievably expensive.
Yeah, it's insane. But what I'm trying to tell you is that's the team names,
Yeah.
okay? And you get those corporate sponsors, and the PGA and Liv can work it out where half the money goes to the players and half the money comes to us, whatever way you want to work it out. And that's how you sell this. And it becomes huge.
I think that, you know, there's so much opportunity there, and man, I hope they capitalize on it. If not, hey, other sports are figuring it out. Other sports
Yeah.
are starting. The Tour de France just released a Netflix series, as we said. You know that we knew this would happen. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but you know, we said like, okay, there's F1 and there's the tennis one, and maybe one other one can handle it. But you know, now I think about it, if you're somewhat on the fence about a sport, maybe, and you watch that,
Totally.
it gets you in. Like, again,
Yes.
like it's something that I think is really smart in terms of the story of the sport. And you know, we always want to know behind the scenes. We want to know what's going on and what makes it work to get it to this stage. We want to know what this guy does when he gets off the bike or out of the car or off the course.
Yeah.
And what he does when he goes home. And they're starting to show that because
You know why? Because it's lost its luster, Jesse. It's lost its luster. The Tour de France has lost its
Yeah, it did,
luster
yeah.
from the steroid scandal
big time.
to now.
the most
it is-
publicity they had was the Icarus documentary about the doping and again, like it's true, like it is. So it's smart. It's a smart play because now you can start.
It's not a smart play. It's desperation play.
Well,
You're
it
giving them
is.
too much credit. What do you mean it's a great play? It's their only play. They've watched F1 do it. They've watched the PGA Tour do it. They've watched all these people do it. And they're like, you know what, guys? Our ratings are dog shit. We have to finally do something that's out of our norm. This bike culture, which is so goofy. We're gonna do and show people the back end of this, and we'll see what happens. And guess what? Let's be surprised if the ratings go through the roof again, because we need to relate to someone, Jesse. It's the same like we used to talk about Canadian Basketball League or the CFL. They're so arrogant that they actually think that the brand, they said there was 32,000 people at the home opener for the Eskimos. Let me explain
Do you
to
know
you.
why?
That's a crock of shit. They're giving away free tickets.
Well, yeah, but also it was the Rough Riders, and what else does Saskatchewan have to live for? So they like going to this.
and how many people from Saskatchewan live in Edmonton?
My kid was
you know what?
my kid was
You know,
at that thing, and he said, you know, 80% of the fans were Rough Rider fans.
Yeah, in Edmonton.
In Edmonton, exactly.
Yeah, and I said that to someone. I said 32,000. They were bragging about that, and I said there was no way there was 32,000, and I guarantee
sold.
there was no 32, and there's no 32,000 paying people. And I'm not shitting on the CFL,
he had free
and I'm
tickets.
not shitting on the Eskimo, and I'm not shitting on the Eskimos. What I'm trying to explain to people is, excuse me, that was a Freudian slip. The Elks, that's another problem too, because people wanted to leave at the Eskimos, but the Elks, what happened there is why you don't think we need to know who these guys are.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You just like, can we
it's
know
the,
who
it's
these
the
people
CFL,
are?
like, you know, and it's a Canadian sport thing where we always like say how humble we are, but we're friggin' arrogant when it comes to things like, especially the CFL, because, you know, it's not a better game. Anyone that knows football knows it's not a better game. It is not even close to the caliber of the NFL. It looks janky on TV. The lines aren't even painted correctly on most stadiums.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
The sponsorships are horrible. They don't, you're right, they don't do any sort of player profile things. And you feel absolutely disconnected, and the game is completely goofy. So you think that it's that good. You're not going to win on that. You need to do something else.
Correct.
And these other sports are figuring it out, or, you know, as you said, desperate enough to do something different. They need to be desperate enough to do something. Man,
I
remember
don't
how
even-
close they
I
were
don't
to
know why
folding?
I don't
Remember
know
how
why
close
team-
that was
Yeah.
to folding during COVID, the CFL? They were like, oh, we're going to merge with some American league. It was an inch off the yard line for the end zone to fold that whole league and turn it into something else. And you think now it's fixed? It ain't fixed. It isn't even close to
No.
fixed. You need to do something different if you want your sport to continue.
I totally agree. It's very frustrating because you don't want to see entire sport get removed from a country,
No.
especially like teams like Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatchewan, Hamilton. Those are the ones that they really need it. And it's like, Jesus, guys, can you just hype this thing up? Like, just hype it up. And when they start to understand that, when they get to the Tour de France mentality where it goes, okay, this is our last resort. We need to actually let people know who our people driving the bikes are, and we need to let people know who are playing in the CFL. And once you do that, trust me, you will get 32,000, 42,000 people to your games.
You got a lot of stories there actually, because these are guys that played college in a lot of cases,
Correct.
Div 1, and wanted to go to the NFL and didn't go to the NFL, but still love the sport, so they come to Canada. I mean, that's a whole series in of itself. Like, have you ever been in a winter playing in negative 30 Celsius?
What about this? Really getting down to a guy you say to him, he's from Arkansas, and he played Division I football, and he started in Division I football, and he was an All-American.
Yeah.
And what happened? Now he's in the CFL. Now, are you mad?
Yeah.
What happened? Oh, you went to the draft. Then you got drafted to the Chicago Bears. And then there was a coach there that didn't like you. And then you got cut. And now you went to the CFL, and like, what's in your brain now? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the kind of hook you need to get.
It absolutely is. And I mean, some of these organizations, and you need to look at things like TSN and stuff, and even Sportsnet, they have a monopoly in Canada on sports, and they're just not doing enough to.
I totally agree.
To really get us back into the sports.
Yes,
and
I totally agree.
And they're more concerned with their image and how relevant they are with the current times than actually telling stories about people in the actual sport. So again, it is one of those things. I hope they figure it out. I'm not going to hold my breath.
No, me neither.
But other sports, if the Tour de France, I'm going to watch this. Just to
they
see
can. They can.
If it does,
back.
okay, let's see what you guys did and what it's about, and I'll make a decision after that. But the time is now. It's time to start doing your sport outside of the sport differently than what you have been.
Correct.
Well, everybody.
What about next week, though? We got Burt Watson on the show. Everybody, if you don't know who Burt Watson is the greatest hype man in the history of combat sports. He was the guy for the UFC, for Bellator, for huge boxing fights. Burt Watson, and I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this interview with him live next week, 5 p.m. Mountain, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on the Me and Jesse podcast. And don't forget our great sponsors for this show. Crystal Glass, your clear choice for all your glass needs. Call 310 Glass or go to crystalglass.ca. And the product, easily the product of the year, Backscape. Everybody go to backscape.com. The summer is coming. I implore you guys, there is nothing attractive about having back hair. I promise you that. Ask any girl that walks by you, ask her. And trust me when I tell you this product works, and it works very, very, very well.
Well, everybody, thanks so much once again to Rampage and Raja Jackson for joining us and taking time out of their schedule. Looking forward to Raja's fight on August 12th, I believe they said it was.
Yes.
And hey, Quinton says, hey, I'm looking to do something. And,
we're going to find him one. I'm going to find him one.
That would be great. I don't know why this guy hasn't been challenged by some of these big influencers already. Yes. They're probably terrified, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not someone you'd call out.
It's not someone else that's going to get their ass kicked. You got a good shot of getting your head knocked in. So
and Jelena won her fight in Palm Springs. So if you want her fight, she's still going at 41 years old, kicking ass. And we love you, Jelena, and we keep doing what you're doing. And fantastic.
Until next time, that's Mark Pavlich. I'm Jesse Marno. This has been the Me and Jesse podcast. We'll see you next time. And remember, if you want to get in the ring with this guy, you got to get out of the geriatric ward. We'll see you next time, everybody, on the Me and Jesse podcast.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/meandjesse. Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast.